thought in my heart was about in Zechariah. We don't very seldom go to the book of Zechariah, but there's one statement in Zechariah 4:10 that says, "For who hath despised small things?" Most of the time, little things and all are insignificant things to us, but they're big things with God. He takes the little things, little small things, and makes big things out of them, can't he? What do we usually want? We want big things, don't we? New car, I got a new car. That's what I want. We all want bigger houses, bigger boats, bigger everything. But the Bible teaches a lot about little things, little small things, things that we think that are very insignificant things. But small things are very important. Years ago, I told you about Tasha. I brought that little bottle. I don't know if you remember or not. Anybody remember me bringing a little bottle that Tasha gave me? Well, I kept dwelling on that and got to thinking again how small things are very important. At that time, Tasha was probably 8 or 10 years old, and out there at Ocean Oak Heritage, they had a little something like a yard sale, like. And it was Christmas time, and she wanted to get her daddy a gift, and so she went in there, and she wanted to go by herself. She didn't want us to go, me and Dennis, to go in with her to look and find. She wanted to do it herself. That's the way she is. She's a perfectionist, and that's the way she's always going to be. So we put her in there, and we just stood around a little bit, and finally she come back and had a little package, and she wouldn't let me look at it much. And then when Christmas over, I opened it up as a gift at Christmas time, and had a ship inside that bottle. Y'all ever seen a ship in a bottle? I don't know how to do it, but the thing wasn't this big. Probably cost a dime or less, but it was a small thing, but it was a big thing to her. And it was a real big thing for me. Matter of fact, money-wise, I value it more than any money you can give me. I still got it. And but small things are very important. I want us to think this morning about some small things that's taught in the Bible, or little things in the Bible, and God teaches much about it. I'll give you the first opportunity, and we'll kind of go through there, and then I got some scriptures that y'all probably can touch on some of them. Who wants to tell me of when Zechariah said, "Who hath despised small things"? What's a small thing that comes to your mind? Somebody.
Small cloud about the size of a hand.
I thought about that one. I'm not sure where it's at, but Elijah, he saw a cloud. It hadn't rained for years and years. And he saw a cloud, and he stuck his hand up like this, and it covered the whole cloud. And what happened after that, Brother Dave?
Well, he had prayed for rain.
Yeah.
There had been a drought. He prayed for the drought. The drought had been 3.5 years.
He got him the rain.
And he prayed for rain, and he sent his servant out, and he came back, and he said, just a cloud about the size of a hand. And so he continued to pray, and God brought the rain.
And he started running, didn't he?
Yeah.
What happened to that? All right? So that's a real small thing, small hand. Jake caught a big old fish out at the river the other day, and he sent me a picture on whatever you call that thing down his gut. And he had a speck, and he stuck his hand up there, and the speck was on both sides of the hand. That was a small hand, wasn't it? But it was a big fish. And Elijah or Elisha, whichever one it was, just stuck his hand up there, and he hid the cloud. And I remember the story right. He started running and tried to outrun the rain. It got really raining hard, pouring down hard. All right, that's a good example of somebody that used a small thing, or God used a small thing. Anybody else?
Goliath.
All right, now David, we're in 1 Samuel 17:1, you start there. But eventually, David, like you talked about, Sister Jane, so David would come up on the Philistines, and they was on one side, and the Israelites was on the other, and they was taunting each other. They sent a big giant out, and we all know the story about David and the giant, but one thing I caught on when I read that story about David and the giant, they sent a man out before. You know, what do you call him? I forgot what you call him now. But anyway, he was to go first, the soldier was, before the giant came on. Read up on that and think about it. They called it something, I forgot what it was. But the main point is, David picked up 5 smooth stones. Now, a stone is not very big. I'm a rock collector. I got rocks from all over the world. And they're just small things. I've had people to pick them up here in Israel, Egypt, and I mean all over the world. I have small rocks. Well, David took those 5 smooth rocks. Did he use all 5 rocks? No. He had. Now, the reason to me, from studying up on it, about the rocks that David had, he picked up 5 smooth rocks, plus he took the script with him. Now, the script was the Word of God. He had it in his bag. And he took out 5 smooth stones because he knew that the giant had 4 more, he had 4 more brothers, the giant did. And he was going to clean house. David had enough. He was fixing to kill all those giants, all 5 of them. But God led David to pick up that stone, and David had done proved himself with his slingshot. He didn't have a slingshot like me and you got, Brother David.
No.
He had one of them kinds that you roll around, and he gets the right spot. And he was good at it. But the reason he was good at it, because God was going to use him later on to kill the giant that was taunting them. And who led? Now, David come upon them. Everybody else, they tried to put armor on, you know, the whole story about Saul's armor, and he had to prove it and so forth. But the bottom line is, when David took that stone and he slung it, David was so good. Listen close now, if you can make a place called an oxymoron on. David was so good with that slingshot that he hit. No, God is the one that led that stone. It was the power of God who took that stone, one of those 5 stones, and it hit that giant right between the eyes. Now, David had practiced. He had used that stone slingshot over and over, but there was no comparison to what God did to it. So he killed. Oh, that's a good example, Jimmy. All right, anybody else?
I think too, in that same analogy, you could say God used a small boy to kill a big giant.
Yeah, a lad too.
A lad.
All right, then.
We were growing up.
Talk louder.
When we were growing up, some of the older people had the theory that children should be seen and not heard. But in the scripture in Matthew 19:14,
1914, yeah.
it says, "Suffer the little children to come unto me and forbid them not, for such is the kingdom of heaven."
All right.
That's what Jesus
Huh?
told them, that the children come to him.
Okay, little children are important, huh? Suffer little, in Matthew 19:14, it teaches about suffer little children, forbid them not, for such is the kingdom of heaven. What did he mean by that? Anybody? Allow. The word suffer means allow. Allow little children, forbid them not, for such is the kingdom of heaven. Go ahead, Jim.
I was just say that they're innocent, and they're innocent.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And
You can learn a lot of valuable lessons from children. They get mad at each other, they forgive each other quickly. They'll help one another, they share with one another sometimes. Sometimes children don't share, but overall they will try to share with others. So there's a lot of different lessons. All right, anybody else? No? Okay. I thought about a few here, and more. Turn to Proverbs 6. All these are different lessons we can learn from a little things or small things. Who has despised small things, little things? The Proverbs 6:6-8, Brother David, you read that?
Will. Go to the ant, thou sluggard.
Is that a big thing?
Little thing.
No.
Consider her ways and be wise, which having no guide, overseer, or ruler, provideth her meat in the summer, and gathereth her food in the harvest. How long wilt thou sleep, O sluggard, when wilt thou arise out of thy sleep? Yet a little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to sleep, so shall thy poverty come as one that travaileth, and thy want as an unarmed man.
Now, we look at the ant many times as an insignificant, a pest, a nuisance. Don't we think ants are a nuisance? We want to kill them. I mean, we don't want them in our yard, do we? Especially around the doorsteps right where I kill them all year round. I kill them same bunch, I think. I think they're coming back alive or something. They're always there by the doorsteps, and I put 7 months, I put everything you people told me to use, and can't get rid of them. But one thing you can glean the truth from about an ant. One thing is, if you watch one very long, you're going to see he's not lazy at all, is he? They're always working, and the Bible tells us over in Thessalonians 3:10 that if a man won't work, he shouldn't eat. Well, that's a lesson there. Ants work. They are not lazy. Every one of them has a job to do. And I could go into the different kinds, how many thousands of different kinds of ants there are, and there's an ant for every reason. There's leaf ant, honey ant. I mean, you can go on and on, but the main point is you can learn from a small thing. Ants, just watch them. Now, an ant gives up easy, don't they? No. They're fighters. They got soldier ants in their colony. And every ant does his job, whatever it might be. But the fighter there, he protects his territory. Over in Timothy, it teaches that fight the good fight of faith. Well, that's what the lesson we ought to learn from them. They're fighters, and we should be fighters. Be a fighter in faith. They work in unity. What do I mean by that?
Work as one.
Work as one. You know, the Bible teaches about 3 chords. You weave with 1 chord, but you put 2 chords, you put 3 chords. The unison of it becomes stronger and stronger. Well, they work in unity. They don't despise what they got to do. They have a peace about them. I thought about over there in John in St. John chapter 6. We all know the story about this. Who wants to read? All right, you read it, James. This is talking about a miracle. One of the biggest miracles that is in the Bible is right here. And you'll recognize it when we start reading about it. But start with, and read all 13 verses. We got time. 1 John chapter 6, 1 through 13.
First John.
Is it 1 John or
St.
St. John?
St. John. Regular John.
Okay.
Regular John
1 through 13?
chapter 6, start with verse 1. Read all 13 verses. And think about who have despised little things.
Okay. After these things, Jesus went over the Sea of Galilee, which is the Sea of Tiberias. And a great multitude followed him because they saw his miracles, which he did on them that were diseased. And Jesus went up into a mountain, and there he sat with his disciples. And the Passover, a feast of the Jews, was nigh. When Jesus then lifted up his eyes and saw a great company coming to him, he saith unto Philip, Whence shall we buy bread that they may eat? And this he said to prove him, for he himself knew what he would do. Philip answered him, 200 pennyworth of bread is not sufficient for them, that every one of them may take a little. One of his disciples, Andrew, Simon Peter's brother, saith unto him, There is a lad here which hath 5 barley loaves and 2 small fishes, for what are they among so many? And Jesus said, make the men sit down. Now there was much grass in the place, so the men sat down in number, about 5,000. And Jesus took the loaves, and when he had given thanks, he distributed to the disciples, and the disciples to them that were set down, and likewise of the fishes as much as they would. When they were filled, he said unto his disciples, Gather up the fragments that remain, that nothing be lost. Therefore they gathered them together and filled 12 baskets with the fragments of the 5 barley loaves, which remained over and above unto them that had eaten.
Isn't that amazing? That's a miracle that, I mean, I feel like God led that lad to where he was at to start with, and he knew it was probably going to be a long journey, or he probably knew that it was going to be there a long time, or whatever. And his mama, I can just picture her packing in 2 fish and some bread, and okay, son, and he takes off. I don't know where he knew at that moment or not that he was to be used for God's people or not, but nevertheless, he went and did what he did. And Jesus, that was nothing for Jesus to take them 2 fish. He told all the people to sit down. There's over 5,000, women and children too. And sit down and I'll feed you. Now, would you believe that? All right, Jesus, I'm going to sit down. And you're going to feed me, and you're going to feed 4,999 more. I believe my faith would have been a little bit weak there. But nevertheless, they did do what Jesus said. And how many baskets was left over? 12 baskets, and all the fragments, in other words, were left over. And so that's an amazing miracle to me, how that just 2 small fish, like Brother David catches, just 2 little bitty fish can feed so many people. Strike that from the record on the bill.
I'm content with small things.
David does not despise small things. He keeps them. Just little haw there, but we can learn from this miracle that you can do anything. Christ will take care of it regardless. 12,000 people, well, I mean, 12,000, 5,000, excuse me,
5,000 men.
And 12
There was
baskets.
5,000 men. That what counted.
That wasn't counting the women and children. So I thought I said that. But anyway, God, the main point is in Philippians 4:19, I believe it is. It says, God will what? Supply all your needs. He didn't say God will supply all your wants. He said God will supply Philippians. I believe it's 4:19.
Yeah.
4:19 says, God will supply all your needs. I believe that. God takes care of us every day. He feeds the little birds. He takes care of them. I thought about, anybody else got on what they got on their mind? How about the, all right, wait.
Chris had mentioned the faith as a mustard seed, as a grain of a mustard seed.
Okay, over, is that Mark 13, Matthew 13? Matthew chapter 13.
Matthew 17:20.
Matthew 17, 20? Okay. Read that for us.
Matthew 17:20. And Jesus said unto them, Because of your unbelief, for verily I say unto you, if you have faith as a grain of mustard seed, you shall say unto this mountain, Remove hence to yonder place, and it shall remove, and nothing shall be impossible unto you.
All right. That's one place about the mustard seed. And I was thinking about, turn to Matthew 13, 31 and 32. There again teaching about a mustard seed too. As Brother Chris just read about the mustard seed. But this is a parable about the kingdom of heaven. And in Matthew chapter 13, verse 31 and 32. Chris, would you read that?
Yes. Another parable put he forth unto them, saying, The kingdom of heaven is like to a grain of mustard seed, which a man took and sowed in his field, which indeed is the least of all seeds. When it is grown, it is the greatest among herbs, and becometh a tree, so that the birds of the air come and lodge in the branches thereof.
Well, that's talking about one of the smallest seeds in the earth. And you put it in the ground, and the seed has to die. The Bible says the seed has to die before it can live. And that's another story. But the main point is they took the smallest seed basically on earth and planted it, and the birds, it says, lodge in that tree after it's full grown, from that little bitty small mustard seed. You look at acorns out there. All those acorn trees we have here, and I have one at home. One little acorn seed. Look how big Baptist Village Oak is. I think it's still there, isn't it?
Oh,
God will take something small. Who hath despised small things? Do you despise small things now? Hope you don't. Be thankful for small things. Look at my head. Is there any hair on my head? God, I think it's in Luke 17:12 somewhere. I don't remember where it's at. But anyway, it says even the very hairs on your head, God knows about them. That's a small, for me, it's a real small thing. But keep that in mind. A little tongue, or a big tongue, could be a deadly fire. James chapter 3:5, is that correct? Huh? Read it for us, Jimmy. 3:5. It's a little member. Your tongue's a little member, but can it cause big trouble? Sure it can.
Even so, the tongue is a little member, and boasteth great things. Behold how great a matter a little fire kindleth.
So a little fire can cause a big problem, can it? A little tongue can cause a big problem. There's a lot more I could go to. I got a bunch of stuff on this, but the main point is don't despise small things that we call insignificant things. I was going to close in the verse here. I'm trying to find out where it's at. Yeah, here it is. 1 Corinthians 1:27. I'm not going to go to all these others, but just think about Zechariah 4:10 and think about small things, and you'll come up with coins and racks and all kinds of things. But we're not going to get into that. 1 Corinthians chapter 1:27-29 says this: But God hath chosen the foolish things of the world to confound the wise, and God hath chosen the weak things of the world to confound them which are mighty. We don't need to despise small things. Just think about whenever you this week, as I did this past week, think about small things. You're going to come up with a lot of small things that has a big meaning to it, or big things about it. You don't just want big things, want some little things too. Those are important. But anybody got anything they want to say?